got big dreams, I'ma do big things. Yeah, you see me on the big screen looking so clean. I don't move slow, I move fast right past.
Yo, what's going on guys? Sam Explays here, and today we are going to be going over how to unlock Ultimate Sharen the optimal way. Now, just a disclaimer in every one of my videos, as I always say, there are some routes which may change depending on where you're at in the game and or how many shape stabilizers you have for a specific amorph material. So we are going to go over a general guide. So this is going to be the best way to do it for just in general. There are going to be some exceptions. However, I'm going to go through your options. I'll make sure to give you all the information and all that good stuff. Also, if you're interested, maybe you're new to the game or you don't yet have all the ultimates, I have a playlist where there is an unlock guide for every single one of them. They still remain the same. The only one that I updated was Ultimate Bunny. The other ones should still be good to go. So if you need those, go ahead and give those a watch. But let's go ahead and just start on this. So the first thing we're going to need is monad shards. Now, if you don't need the blue mats, feel free to skip through the video and all that good stuff. I don't expect you. If you don't need these mats and you only need the purple and the legendary mats, I'll add timestamps, so don't worry about it. But for the other players that like just a follow-through guide, a walkthrough guide, I got you covered. So let's go ahead and start with the monad shards, which is going to be in Kingston. Keep in mind, you don't have to follow me to the T, but basically you just have to be in the Kingston map and you'll be able to get these. So I'm going to go to the Grand Square. However, if you prefer another location within Kingston, you can absolutely do that. You don't have to follow me exactly. So what you're going to do is run around and hit your tab key. You can do this on Ultimate Bunny and or Freyna. If you wanted to be optimal, you could hop on Bunny because she gives you a lot of movement speed, and or you could put the mod on that increases your movement speed with Freyna. However, it's not that big of a deal. You're just going to keep opening these containers and you're going to also hit these boxes and you'll get monad shards. Sometimes you'll get Repton in the containers, which is fine, but you can also get the monad shards from them. So just keep running around the map doing that and you get them pretty quickly. Next up, we're going to go over the Silicon, which is going to be in Echo Swamp. We're going to teleport to the Derelict Covert. Actually, I am going to go ahead and switch to Bunny just to be a tryhard here. For the build, if you want, you can throw on Maximize Conservation, so you run faster. Excuse me, not faster, you run longer. So that is something you can do. You're just going to run and you're going to scan the area for the diamond icon like that. And it's the same principle. You're just going to run around, look for these canisters and loot them. So we'll loot this one and there you go. We got some silicon, right? So you're just going to rinse and repeat till you have enough. Then we got the Monomelecular Extractor, which is going to be in Agna Desert. So I generally just teleport to the first waypoint I see. As I said, you can kind of go wherever you want. It just has to be within the map. The blue mats are super easy. Next up, we have the heavy ion collectors. So these are going to be given to you when you complete a dungeon. So you're going to get 7 of them. It does not matter if you're in normal and or hard, which I'll show you guys in a second here. So if I scroll over here, your 2 options are going to be Biolab and Mystery End. So if I scroll over Biolab, you see how it says 7. This is going to be in hard mode, right? If I switch it to normal mode, I scroll over it, it still has 7 right here, right? So this is going to be kind of preferential of what you want to do. So if you are trying to just get this one material as fast as possible, then you could do normals if you wanted to, right? However, I like multi-grinding. So for me, I like being able to get these amorph materials, and or you could go for like these energy activators depending on which one you select, right? And you also are able to get shape stabilizers. So it's up to you whether you want to maybe take the extra time to just like get these extra rewards on top of farming for the heavy ion collectors. You are going to need a lot of these, and unfortunately, both of these 2 dungeons suck ass. Like, I just don't like them at all, so I don't know if you feel the same, but these are like the 2 of my least favorite dungeons. Biolab at the end is going to have a boss where if you get hit by the projectile thing, it is going to one-shot you most likely. And Mystery's End is going to have a lot of rotating lasers. So again, this is going to be up to you which one you want to do or not, if you want to do it in normal. So if you do not have, like, let's say you don't have Ultimate Glay or Ultimate Lepic, you might want to lean towards Mystery End more, right? Whereas if you had Biolab and you didn't have Ultimate Bunny and or Ultimate Fiesa, you would probably want to do this one. So it's going to change person to person depending on where you are at in the game and what you need in the game. So if you are just single target farming these heavy ion collectors, you do not care about the loot at all, like the other extras that you get, you could probably just go spam normal. But for me personally, I already have everything, so what I want to do is just get this done as quick as possible, but also be able to get my shape stabilizers and crystallization catalyst blueprint, right? I'm multi-farming. So I'm going to do Biolab because Mystery's End is just a pain in the ass. So all you're going to do here is you're going to complete the dungeon, and at the very end, it is going to drop you these right here. So you'll get 7 each run. You are going to need a shit ton of these, so make sure you are spamming this. For the sake of saving time, I am not going to show you guys the dungeon run. I have already done it like a few times. You'll just get it after you clear the boss. I don't want to waste y'all's time, so I don't want to sit here and make y'all watch a 7-minute dungeon, you know what I mean? Like, there's no point. So make sure you select whatever reward you need, and it doesn't really matter if you put it on 250% or 100%, but if you put it on 250%, you have a higher chance to get 2 amorphs as well as a higher chance to get stabilizers. It's up to you. All right, next up, we're going to talk about Ultimate Sharen Enhanced Cell Blueprint. So this is this is a big change, right? Because now you can queue up for Hanged Man in solo. So a lot of people might gravitate to this option, right? Because you could probably, if you're built out, you could kill normal Hanged Man pretty quickly. However, I am going to do the Devourer option. I can kill Devourer within a few seconds, so I feel like for me, this is the best one, right? Now again, what I was talking about earlier was if you have a lot of shape stabilizers, your option might change to make it more optimal for your account. So like, for example, if I scroll down here, this uses shape stabilizer 8, right? And then if I scroll down here, this uses shape stabilizer 3. So if you go to your bag and you're going to go to the consumable tab, you can see how many shape stabilizers you have, right? So if you had a lot for say 3 or 8, right? So I have 10 threes, and then I have 9 8s. So I'm kind of good to choose whatever I want, right? So I'm going to go with the Devoured option. But if you had like a lot more shape stabilizers for a certain option, you could do that option, right? That's pretty much the TLDR of it. We're not going to do this one just because these take a lot longer. The outposts are a lot more insufficient because you need a lot more things to do a run. The only reason I would ever recommend doing outposts is if you are not strong enough to do the other options. However, Devourer is really easy if you are at endgame. He's one of the easier bosses, so this is the one overall that I am going to be doing and that I recommend. So to do this one, you are going to do the Sepulture. So to do these dungeons really quickly, you're going to want to look for something that reduces your skill cost on Bunny, because we are just going to be sprinting through the dungeon, which is why we also have maximized conservation on here. So we're going to select the Sepulture. Do not forget to change to reward 2. Now on this one, I highly recommend first change to reward 2 and do the 250% if you are able to, as it guarantees us multiple drops of the amorph material as well as shape stabilizers, right? So highly recommend setting this on 250%. And you're just gonna dash through the dungeon. I do not run high voltage on mine when I am just trying to fast clear with dungeons because it only hits a certain amount of enemies, but you can do it however you want to. And just keep running through the dungeon. As you can see with the skill cost reactor and the mod on, we have a really hard time running out of mana, as well as we have MP collector on. So if you do have this build, you should be fine to just almost permanently run. And this is going to speed up your clear time much faster. You can also use Ultimate Freno, whatever your preference is, it doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to be like the most optimal and save the most time, I would just use Bunny. And if you don't have Ultimate Bunny, well, you get it for free in 2 weeks, boys. No, I'm joking. You can also use normal Bunny since we're not rocking high voltage. So it's completely up to you. Because I always have people who are like, what if you don't have Ultimate Bunny? You can just use normal Bunny. It doesn't matter. Just kill all the surrounding mobs and then you're going to fight the boss. This guy can chain CC you, so he can be a pain in the ass. Just keep that in mind. Do not get hit by these little drop down things. And you're just going to keep shooting him, kill him, and he's going to drop the double amorph materials. If you do want to kill the boss faster, you can, as I said, you can use Ultimate Brena. Both of them are really good, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't save you like that much time. It's just kind of preference, whatever you're feeling at the time. All right, there we go, and there we go. We got 2 of the amorph materials right here. We got 2 of them. So you're just gonna spam that, and then we are going to go one-shot devour. I am just going to go ahead and use Haley just so I can 2-shot him. It doesn't really matter what you use here. Brena, Haley will pretty much work if you're just trying to nuke them as quick as possible. Could also use Glay. There we go. And that's pretty much it. You would just keep spamming that until you get Ultimate Sharen to drop, roll your loot, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a Shape Stabilizer here. And then we pray to the RNG gods. Oh, I got excited for a second. Damn you, Lepic. But that's pretty much it, boys. That's how you do that. GG easy. You know, it's just going to be repetition, that's all. Now, as I said, as you can see here, you do have the option to solo queue against Hanged Man. However, the reason I don't recommend this is simply because if you do the hard dungeons, you get multiple amorph patterns, whereas the normal dungeons, you only get 1, right? So you're essentially doing 2 runs in 1 with the hard dungeons. But if you wanted to, you could do Hangman. I just wouldn't recommend it, right? Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Equip your ultimate bunny and or bunny again, and we're going to go get the Monomelecular Extractors. So we're going to go here, go to Agna Desert, and teleport to Mirage Stone and or whatever your preference is. It just has to be in that specific part of the map. So anywhere in Agna Desert. Go ahead and hit the tab key, and you are just going to loot these. We got unlucky there and got 2 nanopolymers, but as I said, you just run around, loot these, you're good to go. And we'll loot this one. Holy shit, bro. 4 nanopolymers, are you kidding me? We'll loot this. And there we go. My god, I had to run around the entire map just to get one. I got like 6 nanopolymers in a row. But anyways, that's the gist of it. Sometimes you get unlucky, sometimes you don't. It is what it is. Next up, we're going to get Hellion, which is going to be in the fortress. Same thing applies. We're going to teleport to the defense line. And same thing. This one never lets me down. I say it in every video. Here we go. Boom! There you go. See, it never lets me down. Boom! Double. There we go. That's how you're going to get Hellion, and that's pretty much it. Blue mats are super simple. The heavy ion collectors we already went over. That is not going to change. You just need to spam those dungeons like I was talking about earlier. So let's go ahead and move on to Ultimate Sharen Stabilizer. Now, one thing you'll notice here is the first option is a 5% higher drop chance. However, I would not recommend doing this one. The reason for that is it is a Defend Albion resource mission. So the reason for this is if you scroll over this, as you can see, you only have a 25% chance to get this. So if you are unlucky, you could go a whole run without getting one of these. Most likely you'll get one. However, it's just RNG, and I try and stay away from RNG when I could get like 2 amorph materials guaranteed, right? So it kind of comes down to preference. I wouldn't recommend this option. However, if you like this option better, you can absolutely do that. But I will not be running this for the extra 5%. I am going to do the second option here, which is Hard Pyro Maniac, and I am just going to go run the Chapel. So, in my opinion, this is going to be the best way to do it, because the other one, again, is going to be a outpost, and both of these options take significantly longer to farm than just spamming the Chapel and getting it that way. So I get more runs in at a faster pace with 2 guaranteed amorphs, right? So that's why I'm taking the 5% drop rate hit, and I am just going to be spamming this option. The only reason you would not want to do this is if you are not strong enough to fight those hard bosses. I also like this one because it gives you Crystallization Catalyst blueprint. So again, you can play the game how you want to play. I'm not telling you how to play the game. This is my recommendation. Though the Hard Pyromaniac 100%. I did read that they made these like shorter. I think that applies to the defense mission. However, I still don't think it's worth. So you're going to go over here and run the chapel, get the amorph material, and then you're going to go fight Hard Pyromaniac. The good thing about the chapel as well is it also drops the macromolecule biogels, which is really good because you need them to create catalysts, which you're always going to need more catalysts, right? So that's why this is also really good. So I am going to spam this one. Make sure you do set it at 250%. You do not have to change the reward in this one. It is reward 1. Do not go to reward 2. And this one's extremely good because you get crystallization catalyst, ultimate Sharen, and then if you don't have ultimate Viessa, it's even better, right? You're farming for like 3 things at once. Set it at 250. Go either queue up in public if you are wanting to just get the runs done as quick as possible, or you could just do it in private, go on Freyna or Bunny, and you'll be good to go. I'm personally going to go on private. You're just going to sprint through the dungeon. You can get this one done fairly quickly, especially if you're on something like Bunny. The room and then go and further inside the dungeon. Most of you guys probably already have done this dungeon a million times by now, but just in case you haven't. You're going to get to this thing and you need to stay in the circle, so just run around in a circle, literally. They're just going to come out of these doors right here and dodge the things falling on the ground. Alright, then we're just going to kill the boss. Afterwards, we are going to go kill Pyro, and that's how you would do that. They did change his beam, as you can see, so it's not going to auto-track you anymore, which is nice. Alright, there we go. We got the amorph materials, and now we're going to go kill Pyro. Change to Haley, or whatever Descendant is your bossing character, and queue it up. Alright, then just kill him. Then we're going to go over here to... Oh, it's over here. We're going to go over here, open this, and it's going to be this one. We'll use a high shape stabilizer and cross our fingers. There we go. I'll take it, it's fine. And that's how you would do that. Easy peasy. Alright, switch back to Ultimate Bunny, or whatever your preferred Descendant is. Then we're going to go get the Metal Accelerants, which is going to be in Steroland. You can go wherever you want, but I'm just going to teleport to the first waypoint. Same thing as before, just run around the map, scan the area, look for these boxes. And we got Super Fluid there, but that's basically how you would do it. Just keep running around until you find Metal Accelerants. Alright, there we go. Next up we have Hardeners, which is going to be in Vespers. I'm going to teleport to Timberfall, scan the area, and open all the boxes. We are not getting lucky today, by the way, with the boxes. Holy shit. Open this one. This one, maybe? Holy dude. Alright, there we go, Hardeners. Again, we already went over the Heavy Ion Collector, so we're skipping it. We're going to go get our Sharen Spiral Catalyst. Okay, so this one's going to be kind of tricky, right? Because this one has a 6% drop rate, but it's by far the easiest to do. Molten Fortress has a 10% drop rate. So on this one, we would just spam Quarantine Zone, right? And or you could go farm Outpost. So these two options are going to have higher percent drop rate. However, the Gravewalker one is going to be fairly quick because you just have to do normal Slumber Valley, and it is 100% drop rate, but it is going to be only one amorph material. You also take the 4% drop chance hit. However, I am still going to recommend doing the Molten Fortress, but that is just for me personally. The reason why I'm going to be doing this one is because I like having 2 amorphs better than 1. Granted, Molten Fortress is a pain in the ass to farm. However, it also has, if you see here, it has the Hammer and Anvil nanotube blueprint. So I am going to be multi-farming. However, if you want to go with the lower drop percent chance, and or you would rather do the Void Fusion reactors, that's totally fine. There isn't a wrong option here. It is just whatever you prefer for your account. If you are cool waiting at Outposts to get your amorph materials to drop, then I would recommend this option. If you're just trying to chill out and wait, and or if you cannot farm Molten Fortress, maybe you're not that far in the game yet to where you can clear that boss, then I would recommend the Outpost option over the normal option. Keep in mind, if you do go for the Outpost option, it is going to require Monomer Shards, and you will have to fight Cloned Body Ledris. Just remember, keep in mind, you cannot queue this boss solo, so you will have to pub it, and or if you have friends that want to run it with you. So if you're more of a solo player, go ahead and go for the outpost option. If you don't mind grouping up and you have a really strong built character, go for this option and you can just spam down Molten Fortress. If you get a good group, usually you can down this guy before he even phases if you have like multiple Haleys on your team, right? But if you have not cleared up to this point, then I would recommend just skipping this one and do the outpost option, and or if you feel more comfortable doing the normal option. However, the normal option is the one I would be most least likely to do unless you are struggling to clear Molten and or if you're struggling to clear Outpost, right? If I end up not being able to just permanently down Molten Fortress, I'll probably switch to this one, but I'm gonna try this option first. I think this is overall the best option if you manage to get good pubs. If you don't and it's starting to eat up too much of your time and you're just like, man, I can't clear it, I'm just gonna go switch to this one, right? Anyways, I feel like I've talked about this long enough. I don't want to waste y'all's time. Let's move on. So we are going to have kind of a similar situation here with the ultimate Sharen code. So again, you could run the normal variation. However, this is going to have a 3% drop rate chance. I would highly recommend not doing this. I overall think the hard bosses in the outpost are better. They give you double the drop chance, as well if you use a stabilizer, it'll jump it from 6% to 10%. Again, if you are struggling with the hard bosses, do the outpost option. If you are end game, then do the boss option. They did nerf Frostwalker, so he is much easier now. So if you are already clearing them super fast, I would do this option because it is a guaranteed 2 amorph patterns. Whereas this one is a lower percent drop chance, it's going to be 1 amorph pattern, and or if you were to do the reactor bosses, it is going to be RNG and take you a little bit longer as well to get these patterns, right? Now, keep in mind with the new update, you can select this as a target reward. So if you do the outpost, they did add a pity system to where if you don't get it within a certain number of runs, it will automatically give it to you. You do that by searching up the amorph pattern. You can hover over it and you press G and or whatever it is on your controller. You would press that and now it is setting a target reward. I have not used this yet, but I believe the dev said in their live stream that it would, if you did not get that specific amorph within 5 runs, it is guaranteed for you. So with the outpost being 30-second reset timers, that could also be a really good option. For the sake of the video, we will go test out the target reward system just to see if it's like worth doing or if the dungeons would still be better to do, just so I can give you guys the most educated decision. But again, I think it all comes down to, are you multi-farming? What shape stabilizers do you have? How built are you and how far are you into the game? It's going to change person to person, but we're going to go ahead and do this anyway. This is why I don't like Outpost. I have done quite a few number of runs and still haven't gotten it. I think the next run is guaranteed, but this is why I say I like the hard boss options. Because I could have already done 1 or 2 runs in the time that I've been like sitting here and gotten like 2 to 4 amorph patterns, depending on how fast you clear the dungeon, right? If you're doing 1 or 2 runs. Granted, you do have to fight Molten Fortress. However, it's just, I feel like it's more efficient because if you get a good group, you can just 2-shot Molten. Whereas this, it's good if you want to solo, but it's not a guaranteed drop. So whether it's optimal or not heavily depends on your RNG of how many patterns you're getting. It does help a little bit with the pity system. However, we'll have to see right here. This should be my 5th run, so it should give me 1 here. Maybe it was my 4th. Let me try again. Because I have it set as my target reward unless I am missing something. But I did set this material to my target reward. Yeah, it's just not giving it to me. All right, there we go. So that I believe that took me a total of like 7 or 8 runs. I'm not too sure how the target system works. I thought the dev said if you didn't get it within 5 runs, but the patch just dropped. I might be missing something. But regardless, after you get this, you are going to teleport down here to fight this boss. So we're going to go over there real quick. I'll fight that boss, and then that's how you would do that. You're going to come over here. As I said, it is going to take Monomer Void Charge. You're going to spawn the boss, and you're just going to kill the boss. My Sharen is not built at all. All right, you're going to kill the boss, and then you're going to roll the loot, and GG. Use a shape stabilizer if you have it to up your chances. Cross your fingers. No, it's Kyle, damn it. And that is how you would unlock the ultimate Sharen code. At the end of the day, guys, as I said, the most optimal route is going to change depending on your account. If you are at in-game and you have no problem killing all those hard bosses, especially with the addition of the pity system, then outpost options might be better for you. However, if you are at in-game and you have no problems clearing the hard content and clearing those hard bosses consistently, then the hard bosses will be the most optimal thing for you to do. I just personally don't like Outpost, however, it might be the best thing to do for your account and how far you're in the game. At the end of the day, play how you want. You don't have to follow specifically what I did in the video. If you do find yourself struggling with a specific option that I ended up doing, you can absolutely just switch to a different option. At the end of the day, it's all about fun. Try and just have fun grinding your characters. It's not that big of a deal if you do things a little bit inoptimally. And again, it's going to change depending on what shape stabilizers you have for each option. If you don't mind sitting at Outpost and doing 7 to 10 runs for each amorph material, then by all means do that. And if it's a lot easier for you, it's no problem. If you like doing hard bosses more and you like getting the 2 amorph materials while you are farming for other things such as catalyst blueprints, etc., then do the hard boss content. It's literally up to you. There's 3 separate ways to do things. The normal options I would stay away from. They're kind of a scam in most situations, but again, play how you want to play. That's how you're going to unlock Ultimate Sharen. I am Samix Plays. I got a lot of love for you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all in Albion. Peace.